Intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What?
He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
It is, and you know what else is complicated is our countdown process. me and Rob, when we do this, we have a very distinct countdown so we can sync up the audio. And you know what I noticed? I always say one, but it's a thing. You're not supposed to say one.
You don't say one.
Right?
No, you just go 3, 2, boom, and
Right,
then you go. Yeah.
I keep saying, I apologize. It's amateur hour, and I keep saying one. And I'm really bringing down the show.
Well, that's okay. If the one is bringing down the show, then
we were really in trouble. Right? Oh, but we are back again with another episode of Banter, Beskar, and Bantha.
Yes, we are.
Mandalorian podcast.
Boy,
do we have some Mandalorian stuff to talk about.
Woo! What a great episode. We are reviewing episode or chapter 11 this week.
Oh, yeah, the Heiress. And I got to tell you, as soon as I saw that the title was the Heiress, I had a very distinct feeling as to who we were going to run into.
100%.
During this episode.
100%.
Before we get into that too far, this is a warning that we will be getting into spoiler territory.
Spoiler alert.
So if you are someone out there who has not yet seen, please go check out the newest episode of The Mandalorian on Disney+. And while you're at it, you should go and check out all the other episodes of Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk. We like to call it Bantha Milk Podcast.
Yes.
Where can you check us out, Rob?
You can check us out on our website, banthamilkpodcast.com. You can check us out right there. That is official. And I have everything, all of our shows, or at least our latest shows are updated. I just realized just now, thinking, there's a clump of shows in the middle there that aren't on the website. But you can find them on any podcast provider out there. So check us out there. Spotify,
Stitcher, Apple Music, Google Play Music.
Yep.
I don't know any other ones.
Whatever. There's a whole bunch of other ones. Yeah. So check them out on all of those.
You can catch us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter.
We're on all those as well. Bantha Milk.
Are we still doing the card game, the Star Wars trading cards?
The 365 Star Wars.
Yeah. Did we lose track of that?
We lost track around 76.
That's all right.
I was happy with
people.
Yeah, I was happy with myself that I got to 76 in a row, and then
I'm impressed with that.
And then I'm going to pick it up this week, because what I'm going to do now for the next 5 weeks, this is my goal again. I'm going to get some still shots from the episode for this week's episode, so for chapter 11, and throw out a different still shot for this week, for each week. So that's my goal.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so there we go.
We're going to see it. We're ready for it. So you can check that out on Instagram at Bantha Milk Podcast, on Facebook at Bantha Milk Podcast, on Twitter at Bantha Milk.
But just Bantha Milk.
Right?
That's right.
That's right. And
Facebook.
You should definitely, yes. We're Bantha Milk Podcast on Facebook.
Facebook,
right?
yes. Bantha Milk Podcast on Facebook. That's right. And YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So
because we're recording these things.
Yes, our podcast listenership has gone up greatly, which is awesome. We thank you all for listening. Keep listening. Tell a friend.
If you're a new listener, absolutely. Please tell your friends. We like new listeners. Please send us an email, banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com, and let us know that you like us and you're here for us. Tell your friends. Listen to our old stuff. We have breakdowns of every episode from last season as well as some stuff in the interim, some interim Star Wars conversation and banter.
Yes.
The second favorite thing about our show is the banter. Also the Bantha Milk, of course.
Of course.
Rob, you have any Bantha Milk today?
Speaking of the Bantha Milk,
what do you got?
I am back to the blah, 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 because 21st Amendment is awesome. So definitely check out the 21A. We got a little blah, blah.
What's so special about 21A?
Well, funny you should ask, because we are in the Ears Up podcast universe, and Ears Up podcast is sponsored by the 21A. So you can get them in many, many states, not just in California. We live in the great state, the Garden State of New Jersey. Yeah. I can find it here. They have it in Florida, all over the place. So check out some 21A. Really, really good stuff. Blah, blah, blah is their double IPA. And I thought it was
which is a lot like an IPA.
But twice.
But more.
More,
twice,
yes.
2 IPAs.
2 IPAs. It's like drinking 2 IPAs in one can. They like crush it down and push twice as
really
much
impressive.
IPA in there. Yeah,
good for 21A. I mean,
yeah.
They know their stuff.
They know their stuff. They know how to take 32 ounces and squeeze it down into 16. It's amazing. It's awesome.
math and physics and science. It's just amazing. So yeah. Check out Ears Up Podcast.
Yes.
Ears Up Network of Podcasts. They are our parent podcast organization. They've got a lot of really great shows on there. If you're big into the Disney world.
Yes. Or land.
Right. Or land.
Disney
really,
universe.
The Disney sphere. Mm-hmm. Right? Stay plugged into that. They've got a whole bunch of stuff on there that you would love.
Yes. And also check out their Patreon, because Patreon helps support us. It helps support them. It helps us get to Florida. They're going to fly us, or not to Florida, they're going to fly us to California for their next anniversary show. They don't know this yet, but I just told them that. And if
they're listening right now,
and if it's
Jason's like, no, we're not.
And if it's out there, it's got to be real. I mean, if you say something,
let's be real. Jason's not listening.
He's not listening. No,
Jason doesn't listen to podcasts.
He doesn't, but whatever. So,
Jason, if you're listening, I want you to text me the magic word, and at some point in this podcast today, I'm going to mention the magic word.
That's right. And see if you actually listen to our show.
That's right, but you'll have to stay tuned for that, right?
That's right. You will have to stay tuned for that. So that's that. So check out Ears Up. Check out their Patreon at Ears Up. $2 a month lets you into the Cool Kids Club, and then $12 a month or something. They give shout-outs to you on there. Speaking of shout-outs, we like to give shout-outs for free. So if you want a shout-out for free, like, subscribe, do all that stuff either on YouTube or on any of the social medias that we spoke about earlier. Tell us, hey, give me a shout-out. We'll give you a shout-out next week, and we'll do it for free. You don't have to join Patreon to do it.
By the way, another great way to get a shout-out on our show is to tell us how wrong we are about things, right? Which happens a lot, and that's fine. I am off the cuff about just about everything I talk about on this show, and I think I do some pretty deep pulls every now and then, but occasionally I just blank, right? So we do have some fact checkers. In fact, my buddy Doug, who I met when I lived in Illinois, who actually lives in one of the Carolinas. I believe it's Man, I'm a bad friend. I think it's South Carolina.
Maybe it's West.
He'll fact check me about that later.
Maybe it's West Carolina. Does he live there?
West Carolina.
West Carolina.
It's one of the most beautiful of the Carolinas.
It is. It's my favorite of the Carolinas.
You know what I love about West Carolina? It's just a lot like North Carolina, but slightly to the left.
Yes, just a little bit to the left of North Carolina. I agree.
Anyway, Doug is probably our official fact checker because he's got the Star Wars knowledge just there, man. He's got it all in his head. So I do want to just shout out to Doug. Doug had a couple fact checks from our last show. If you didn't catch our last show, we did a breakdown of episode or chapter. What was
chapter 10?
Last time?
Chapter 10.
Right, that was the passenger. And we had some mixed views about it. And again, I think that if you follow the season trend, we're kind of on the right track here, right? Because episode 3 was great. But anyway, from last time we talked about our big giant ant creature. Right, and that was Dr. Mandible. I couldn't think of his name.
Oh, there you go.
Of my head, right, but that was Dr. Mandible, and I guess he was from season 1. He made an appearance in season 1 as well. Another friend of mine I was having a conversation with mentioned that Dr. Mandible was a little too Earth-like for him. It took him out of the moment.
Okay.
And I'm sure he's upset that I haven't said his name yet. So that was Joe. Hey, Joe.
Joe said that.
Out there, Joe. Joe out in Pearland, Texas, listened to us.
By Earth-like, you mean like human-like, or like an ant? Like he looked a lot like an Earth ant.
Okay. I think we even mentioned that it was kind of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids-ish.
Yes, very much so. Yes.
So yeah, Dr. Mandible was he was a little out there last year. But we also talked last episode about the strange little creature that tries to steal the child. And I thought that might be a Tito. And it does kind of look like it's kind of similar, but apparently the Tito has 3 fingers.
Okay.
And the character shown here did not.
So okay.
Probably not a Tito.
So it wasn't a Tito.
So that was our fact check for our last episode. You should comb through, as though you are combing the desert, you should comb through our episodes and tell us all the things we get wrong so we can mention you on our podcast.
I have one more thing that I found out about last week's episode. The snow planet that we said was definitely not what planet did we say it wasn't? The one where all the crystals are farmed. That the Starkiller Base, thank you, was built in. What was the name of the actual planet there?
Oddly enough, here I am sitting here, and I'm
and you know all these things, yeah.
It's blanking for me.
Okay, well, don't worry, because it wasn't that planet.
It was not.
It was not that planet. Apparently, as he's landing or somewhere on his display in Auerbesh, It's
Ilum.
Ilum. There it goes. It did not say Ilum. It said Maldo Kresh. Maldo Kresh, which was
Kind of sounds like a Star Wars person's name.
It does. But
a smuggler.
They said that it's the same planet as the first planet that we saw in The Mandalorian, that other ice planet that he was on in Episode 1, Season 1, when he picked up the little blue guy. Apparently, it was the same planet as that.
Interesting.
Yes. So there we go. So that's another fact from last week's episode that we missed.
Rock on.
Rock on. As far as Star Wars news, there wasn't really anything big that I found. Mandalorian is taking over.
3 came out.
Yes, and that's pretty much it. So there's our Star Wars news for you. So let's get right into it, because
I do want to, because
this was an awesome episode.
This was definitely, and you know what? It's funny because, Rob and I are teachers, and I actually have students coming up to me talk, because, this is my students are even watching this show. I think Baby Yoda really captivates all forms of audiences, right?
Yeah.
But they all know that me and Rob watched this kind of early in the morning. They were like, "How was it? How was it?" And I don't want to give away anything to anyone except that it was just so good, right? It was so good. It was
so
everything I've been wanting.
Yes.
And like it really. I mean, I don't know if it made up for last week. We'll kind of see. But it's helping to ease the pain, I think, of some of the movies. Just how well these things are playing. It's showing so many things on screen I never thought I would see on screen.
Yeah, and like totally looking like the production value of a movie.
Oh yeah,
like the production value is so high for a television show. Like
those Mandalorians flying around.
Oh my gosh.
When you think about even Game of Thrones, every now and then you would see like a shot where you're like, ooh, that looks kind of cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
The production value is excellent.
Like on the CW, they have all of the DC TV shows, Batwoman, Supergirl, all the Green Arrow, all these shows.
Gotham,
The Flash, and they're all good, but they definitely look like TV quality versus movie quality.
Sure.
And just in the amount of money that they're willing to spend for a TV show versus what they're willing to spend for a movie, you can tell that the production quality is much different. In this looks like they were spending $200 million, to make this series.
And also, by the way, props to Bryce Dallas Howard, who was the
director this week.
Episode.
Yeah, she crushed it this week.
Killer.
Yeah,
and I didn't know it was her until the very end. It pops up, and her name popped up right away. And I don't remember which ones she directed last season, but I mean,
she directed I think episode 4 last season. Also, the I forget which one. I'm sorry, I don't want to speak out of turn and say
Doug,
the wrong one.
Let us know,
Doug.
man.
Let us
Doug
know.
Knows.
Offhand, I can't remember either. But
Bring it right out of here.
But this was definitely the best one.
Absolutely right. So let's hop right into it. Right where it picks up. Right, so again, we're getting into spoiler territory here, right? I'm going to stop saying that. You should know by now, right? So right away, when we see the Heiress, right? If you've watched the Clone Wars, if you've watched Rebels, you have to know when we're talking Mandalorians who the Heiress is, right? And it's got to be Bo-Katan,
right?
Speaking of the Heiress, if you're not someone who has watched the Clone Wars, and again, if you've listened to us in the past, you know that we are an advocate of the Clone Wars.
Very much so. And Rebels, Bo-Katan was in both. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. But the storytelling that, again, this is all Dave Filoni, right? Work. And he's continuing his great work. Right. And he's really good about weaving his storyline in and out of itself. Right. But, the Duchess Satine was the leader of Mandalore for however long, but she was a pacifist, right? She was this pacifist leader, and Mandalorians by tradition are this culture of warriors dating back thousands of years. And so there were, I'm not going to, go into necessarily the depths, because there are some pretty deep Mandalorian plot lines in Clone Wars.
Yes.
But, Satine gets killed, and Bo-Katan, as her sister, is the heiress to Mandalore.
Right.
So that automatically had my ears perking up. And I don't think they disappointed either. And the girl that got what's her name? Kate Sackhoff? Was that her name?
Yes.
She was perfect to play Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff, because she was also the voice of Bo-Katan in the cartoons, in the Clone Wars, the cartoons. So
Yep.
they used her now, which was awesome because the voice just carried over, and they dressed her up. They like if you see pictures of her when she was on Battlestar Galactica or Riddick, she had like long blonde hair and whatever. So they gave her the same wig and the hairstyle and everything, and made her
She
look
had,
like
the kind of like
the Bob.
speak to the manager haircut sort of thing going on, but in a cool way.
In a cool way with that
She managed
headband
to make it look like a warrior, you know. But I mean, they really and man, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but seeing that owl, what was it, Owl Squadron?
Yeah, the Owl Squadron. Yeah, helmet, her mask.
that helmet. Oh, it was so killer to see that in person.
So my friend was texting me right before the show. He goes, "Are you recording your podcast now?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "It felt like I was watching a live action version of the Clone Wars TV series," which
Absolutely.
it totally did. It totally
Yep.
did. It was so awesome.
It was, and it felt like it didn't feel new. It felt new because it was new to see it on screen,
right? To see
But
real
it felt-
people.
Yeah, but we were seeing characters that we already understand and we already knew, and we got answers to a lot of questions, right? But
Yes.
I don't want to jump ahead of that. Let's hop back to the beginning, right? The first thing we see is the adorable sleeping child.
Okay,
He's cooing and making adorable noises.
So that whole opening sequence before they go to the title sequence was amazing. Everybody's sleeping. The child sleeping is even cuter than the child awake.
Oh yeah,
That's simple. Norman is the cutest sleeping thing ever.
Norm.
So little baby
What a guy.
Norm sleeping there was amazing. You got Frog Mama holding her cauldron of eggs,
Bucket of kids.
there, and even Mando was sound asleep because he could. There's no light speed or time jump, whatever. That's light speed, right? Yeah, jump to light speed. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they say light speed a lot.
I don't know why
I think it's hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive. Yeah, this hyperdrive
Right,
wasn't
but, like,
working.
Again, I never quite understood it because they talk about light speed, but light's pretty darn slow. Like when you come to going around the galaxy. But then it's hyperspace is a different dimension, right? And
Maybe
so
Doug
you
can help us
travel
out here.
through hyperspace. Yeah, Doug, if you know any the science behind hyperspace, let me know because I know the basics behind it are you slide into hyperspace, which is a different dimension, which has different rules, which means you can get from point A to B easier, but in order to get into hyperspace, you have to go faster than the speed of, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to look into it. Either way. So they can't drive in hyperspace right now. So they're just chugging along like a couple of schmoes in their beat up old caddy.
Out for a Sunday drive, going to the diner after church, which going to the Waffle House, which by the way, I feel he even said it at one point. He said the Mandalorian is way back in episode 3. He said the Mandalorian is a religion, or guns are part of my religion, or something like that.
Right.
But yes, I think we get into even more like religious tone, not in so much as a god being type thing, but just different types of religions and how sects of religion and how different people look at the same thing, which was really cool in this episode.
Absolutely, yeah. And once we're introduced to them, we can definitely talk a little more about that. But yeah, definitely. And I think we've all been waiting for that.
Yes,
because we all knew, and we've talked about that on the show plenty. Something had to have happened, right? Because we've seen plenty of Mandalorians without helmets on.
Yes,
and so we did get a little bit of an explanation of that, right?
But in that first scene, when he's coming down and the ship's on fire, like the space shuttle returning to space, and he says to the frog lady, "Hold this lever," and she puts her bucket of kids behind her, I thought for sure baby little Norman was going to be back there popping eggs like he's eating popcorn. I thought for sure he was going to keep eating them and being like,
same exact thing.
"This is a cool show. Look at this. All this fire. This is fun." But he didn't. He restrained himself. I thought it would have been so much funnier had he done that.
We're getting to see the more mature side of
a 50-year-old Norman,
Yeah, no, he's really showing control in his later years. It was awesome. And then we also, I think for the second or third time this series, got what might be my favorite new Star Wars expletive.
Okay.
Did you catch that? When he said "dank ferric."
Yes.
Yeah. So that's maybe the second or third time we've heard that this series. I'm going to use that from now on.
I agree.
I'd love to know what that means.
What it translates into, yeah.
I did Wikipedia that, and all it says is that it is a expression of frustration, possibly crude or something like that.
Okay, makes perfect sense.
So yeah, but
anyway, then the ship's coming in on fire.
Yeah, that's right.
You think you're like
this part.
You're like, oh no, it's going to crash. It's whatever. And then he comes down, he's just about ready to land, and then you're like, oh good, everybody is safe. And then the engine blows out, and it falls into the water.
Right, and man, it was perfect.
And
like, got it. That what was it? A Quarren, right? It was the Aqualish. The Aqualish was the one standing on the thing
and watching, and he just shakes his head. He's like, oh god, another one.
Yeah.
And then
these tourists come to my dock.
Look at these tourists. That's right. They're taking up two spaces.
I grew up on an island in a touristy area. I understand.
You totally understand how he feels.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's that time of the year again. Here come the tourists.
Shoobies are back.
Shoobies are back.
Right.
But then I like the AT-AT crane.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
It was like a big walker that they've decided to repurpose. Again, it's weird seeing a port. It's not often we see ports in Star Wars that are not spaceports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that they even have that. And I guess that the fishing industry is a thing on whatever planet they're on, right? Because that's essentially what they're doing is they're going fishing.
Now, I keep trying to find hidden Easter eggs that they call them, and little throwbacks and stuff like that. And maybe I'm not looking hard enough anymore, but I feel like I'm not seeing as many of these little
there were fewer
quips.
For sure in this one. I mean, I think that they were more overt, where the throwbacks weren't Easter eggs as much as they were plot lines. You know what I mean? Our throwback this time was our tie-in with Bo-Katan and Clone Wars and Rebels, and she mentions the Darksaber. But I feel like in episodes where we have less drama and intrigue to keep us hooked, they're throwing in more of these kind of winks at us to kind of keep us excited about seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
There were definitely, I didn't see any of those winks.
No.
Like, hey, Star Wars fans.
Right.
I didn't see any of that this
It's almost like they feel, every time I go to Tatooine, we have to throw all these things in here so that you're on Tatooine.
Yeah.
But now that we're on to these other planets that we've never seen, we don't need tie-ins to movie episode 3 or episode 6 or whatever.
Although it is good seeing tie-ins with other aliens we know.
Mm-hmm.
We keep seeing different alien species, and they're leaning on alien species a lot more, which is great.
Yeah,
because kind of the recurring theme throughout Star Wars, especially in the extended universe, is that just like one might expect, humans or humanoid creatures were kind of racist. And the Empire was particularly racist, and they didn't like aliens. But while humans are like humanoid creatures are like the most populous type of creature in the galaxy, supposedly, that doesn't mean that there's just a whole bunch of humans and some aliens, and that's kind of how the original movies felt sometimes. Mm-hmm. But they're leaning a lot more on using species, especially ones we know, even stuff we don't. I mean, we saw Frog Man and Frog Woman
right
this week, so at least we know that there's a whole free species of frog people out there somewhere.
Well, I
we
think
saw Quarren, and we saw Aqualish.
Yeah. I think she said that maybe she was the last of her family line.
That's right, her line. It's
the
last of her line.
I don't know if that means that those two are the last two of their species or just of her line, of her lineage. So,
right.
So whatever. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more aliens, which is cool because we definitely see a lot more than just normal, humans walking around all of these planets. So that was cool.
And by the way, I got a strong Davy Jones vibe from all these.
Oh my gosh, yeah, with their beards, they totally, the tentacles, totally felt like I was watching
Pirates of
the Caribbean. Yeah. So okay,
who was that? Who played Davy Jones in that movie? I forget. It was a big name, wasn't it?
Yeah, I forget who it was. I don't know. Was it Johnny Depp? Oh no, it was not Johnny Depp.
He's been canceled. Sorry, Johnny.
Sorry. So then we get into the port, and very nice heartfelt moment with mom and dad and their babies and all that good stuff, and really liked it. It was very touching. The music was even really cool during that part. We got to get our boy Ludwig to get in here some more. Mr.
Yeah,
Gorson.
yeah. If you didn't hear last season when he was on our show, that's because he wasn't. But
maybe next season he'll be on our show. We keep emailing him, and for some reason he's not getting back to us. I'm not sure why.
I meant to tell you he did get back to us last week.
Oh, cool.
Weird. I think there was some sort of error because it seems like it was like an auto generated thing because it started with cease and desist. It was strange.
It was weird. That was weird. We'll just keep emailing him and see what he says.
So anyway,
he then says he goes into another bar and finds out some people that say they can take him to his other Mandalorians.
Because in Star Wars, you go to the bar to get your quests.
You get all your quests.
It's the quest hub.
Yes.
You gotta go to the cantina. That's where all the people with the exclamation points over their heads are sitting.
So his quest plot line said go to the cantina. So he found the cantina. Right. He went in there, and they said sure, we'll take you. So then he takes you, and then this was a scene. Let me tell you, if the people forgot all about the bike troopers after they saw this scene. They said
they're a thing of the past. I can forgive that.
They have been canceled.
It was
they're
just a
done.
Little smack around.
Yeah.
But
oh my goodness.
This whole new meaning to the word "kill them now."
That's right. So they go on a boat, which is a real boat, not a floating boat, and it was the boat that we saw in the trailer. So we're getting close to now seeing all of the
everything
clips
out of the trailer.
Yeah.
We definitely saw the shot of Sasha Banks in the trailer too.
Which Sasha Banks had one whole line in the entire show, which was amazing. Did you see the movie Dazed and Confused way back in the 90s?
No,
you were probably like 8. But anyway, I watched it like 1,000 times. There was one girl that was in almost every single scene, and she just stood there the whole time. She had one line in the entire movie, and it was, "Want to go smoke that joint?" She says with like 3 minutes left in the entire movie, but she's in almost every single scene. Sasha Banks was almost that character. She was in like every single scene, has one line in the whole show. Now maybe she'll have more.
But she sure looked pretty intimidating.
She did. I mean, she definitely did.
She was a Mandalorian.
Yes.
She played the part pretty well. Oh, man. So, yeah, we're on the boat, and I get very angry because Kyle should know better.
He should know better. I mean, come on.
If you're a new listener, and we do have some new listeners, we welcome you. If you don't understand who Kyle is, you should listen to episode 1 of our podcast. Is it episode 1?
No, I think it was probably like episode 4. We did a couple of episodes before this season even started.
It's our review of episode 1, I think.
Yes.
Right? So you can go all the way back. I think we're on episode like 26 or something.
No, 29 now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're on fire. We've been around for a long time.
Right. So, yeah, but our boy Kyle should know better. Like, you've got precious cargo all over your body and with you.
And with you, yes.
Maybe keep yourself alert.
Yep. When you're on a ship with some seedy looking characters, maybe keep your alert up a little bit.
Now, Rob, what's so seedy looking about him?
I don't know. The tentacles.
Wow.
Yep. I am.
Book by its cover.
I am.
Rob.
Well, guess what? My book, the inside of the book, fit the cover because they were seedy characters.
They definitely.
They were very seedy characters.
Right? That's messed up. They straight up punted little baby Yoda into the maw of whatever that creature was.
Yep.
And it's like that creature was made for that receptacle.
Yep.
And it upsets me because that was like the last vestiges of what Quill made for us.
Yes.
So, thank you, Quill.
Thank you for protecting Baby Yoda. Little Norman.
Little Norman. Little child. In Kyle the Mandalorian's freaking negligence.
As soon as Norman saw that something bad was happening, he pushed that button. It closed up, and then the mouth closed up around him. So the other good news we found out from Quill's awesome workmanship was that it has its own like oxygen or something in there as well, because he was in the mouth of that creature for quite some time. And then Kyle gets caught, trapped underneath the cage, and they're trying to stab him to take his armor because they said his armor was. They didn't even know how valuable Baby Yoda was. They didn't care about that. They just wanted his armor. So then out of nowhere come the saviors.
It's
three
the
X-wing
classic
pilots.
Star Wars Deus Ex Machina.
That's right. Here come the
Something's
X-wing
gonna come to
pilots
save
coming
the
down.
day.
Oh wait, it wasn't
That's
the
right.
X-wing pilots. It was
Oh, no.
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
Cheers to
please.
Bo-Katan and her friends.
Oh yeah, right here with you. Right.
So yep, Bo-Katan comes down. Her.
And the amazing thing about Bo-Katan is that she didn't even need to take off her helmet for us to know who she was, right? Because she's got that patented, beautiful, and again, the Beskar. It's so cool to see the painted Beskar and the different colors of Beskar, right? I'm hoping we see Sabine at some point because obviously Sabine. Is really
Sabine's
well known
always
for her
painted. Yeah, painted really cool, very colorful. Armor.
But no, she. First of all, the Mandalorians come down and just a night, and it becomes very clear. As we can kind of get into a philosophical conversation about what it is to be a Mandalorian because that's essentially what happens here.
Yep.
Is they have this philosophical, and I think that's what this whole series is going to kind of turn into is what it is to be a Mandalorian. Because think about the situation, especially, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but I don't care. I've got a thought I have to follow. So later on, they get into this fight, and you hear them talking on the machine. Oh, there's at least 10 of them, right? But there was only 4.
There was 4, and then later on, you do hear them go. There are only 4, but they're Mandalorians.
Oh, they're Mandalorians, right? Yeah. So again, their armor is basically the same thing as a Jedi's powers.
Yes,
you know what I mean. They're essentially because again the whole Beskar thing was they made Beskar because Mandalorians and Jedi fought so often.
Yes,
right? It was supposed to be a counter to the lightsaber. So you can essentially, with their fighting prowess and their Beskar and their ability with weapons, they're essentially putting them on a similar pedestal. The Jedi and the Mandalorian.
Wait, are you saying like balance? Could you be talking about balance in Star Wars? Imagine that.
But it's just so cool to see like that this armor is essentially their power.
Yes.
Right, and you have these 4. Now you're seeing 4 of them.
4 of them, yeah.
But they're from apparently a drastically different background, right? And we'll talk about that here because we all knew something was going to happen where they took like this was a scene that any of us could have predicted where they shoot them all, they free them, and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness, my fellow amiga." Oh, they took their helmets off. They're bad guys.
You're not really a Mandalorian. But before that, also. I think this season's going to be about 2 things. One, Mandalorian lore, Mandalorian, all the different things in Mandalorian, and maybe, hopefully, all the Mandalorians coming together, because they're going to have to come together at some point to fight off Moff Gideon to get the Darksaber back. That's my opinion where this is going. That's my guess at this point, especially since he's looking for all these Mandalorians.
Right.
So he's going to bring them all together. But also, it's also a lot about parenthood. And this episode itself was huge into parenthood. You got Frog Mama and Data, and the little baby does sprout out there. And Norman does not eat him, which is nice. I know we're getting ahead, but whatever. Growth. Okay. So we got that. When they save Norman and Mando Kyle is sitting down, he's a little out of breath because he almost drowned in the cage, but also you could see that he was very upset that Norman almost bit the big one. Yeah,
he's definitely doesn't see little Udall as just like a quest item.
No.
You know what I mean? The Mandalorian and again, I think at the end of the day we're going to realize that the Mandalorians of both the Children of the Watch, which we'll talk about in a second, and whatever Bo-Katan's kind of sect is, I think they're gonna come to this realization they're fighting the same cause. They're all one clan, no matter their differences, right?
Yes.
But again, I think he takes to heart this foundling thing that he is this thing's child, and he really does feel that way.
Yes.
And so he's not just feels like, oh, I got to get this thing back. He's kind of a hindrance to me. I think eventually when we do get little baby Udall back to his kind. If that is a thing that happens, I mean, it's certainly not going to be like oh, here you go, see you later. I mean,
right.
I think it really kind of depends where things go because we're definitely seeing the beginnings of Din. Okay, we'll call him Din Djarin right now since we're having a pretty philosophical conversation. him starting to doubt his own beliefs about what it means to be a Mandalorian, right? Because clearly at the end of this episode, he's got a respect for these Mandalorians who helped him. He's got this respect for Cobb Vanth from the Tatooine episode, even though he's not a Mandalorian. So I think every time he's meeting, he's being exposed to outside elements. I think he's been very sheltered, even though he's been a bounty hunter. He's been sheltered to his own sect. He doesn't even realize that there's other Mandalorians outside of that sect, and he's an adult. I mean, he's been out killing and shooting and making a name for himself. So I don't know. It seems they're really secluded and really, really kind of
from what
naive.
I got from it, the Children of the Watch, which was the sect that took him in, they're like the cultists version of the Mandalorians.
Right, and when you say the Watch when it comes to Mandalorians, obviously the big thing that jumped into my head was Death Watch. Death Watch was the clan in Clone Wars, and I don't know, was Death Watch in Rebels? Death Watch was in Rebels.
Yeah, because in Rebels, Darth Maul was in it, and I think he was still the leader of Death Watch at the time. Yes.
Yeah. So Doug can catch us on that, right?
Yeah.
But either way, Death Watch was the bad guys. Pre Vizsla, who held the Darksaber before Bo-Katan,
right,
was the leader of Death Watch, right? And so we can only assume.
Well, he was until Darth Maul killed him for it, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Because Bo-Katan took the Darksaber, I guess, from Maul?
From Sabine. Sabine got it back from Maul.
That's right. Yeah, there's a whole thing in Rebels. That's right.
Yeah, and then Sabine, because Sabine then reunited all of the different clans on Mandalore against Maul and against everybody else. And then she gave the Darksaber to Bo-Katan to make her the new leader, which the only way to have... Traditionally, or in the past, the only way to get the saber taken from you, except for Sabine, who gave it to her, is in a fight and battle, or to be killed for it. Like Pre Vizsla was killed, and then Darth Maul took it and said, "Now I'm in charge." So how does Moff Gideon get it? Because obviously Bo-Katan's still alive. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure they're going to give us some kind of backstory. They have to give us some kind of backstory as to how he got it. We can make some predictions now if you think is a battle, or do you think maybe he just snuck in while she was sleeping?
I think we're going to get some backstory on Moff Gideon. I think there's more to him than we know. We've only seen him very briefly in 2 episodes, or 3 episodes maybe.
And now we saw a hologram of him in this one.
Yeah, in this one, right. So, but no, I think there's going to, hopefully, I mean, with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, we're going to see a little deeper of a cut there.
Yes.
But again, it's just kind of all about perspective, and I think that we're going to see, I don't know how many, God, I hope this goes like 30 seasons. I'm just so excited about The Mandalorian. Honestly, what I really hope to see is that they expand the seasons. We get more episodes and longer episodes, because I think that the short seasons are what's kind of killing them right now.
Yes.
We love the episode. Everyone, I have people messaging me all the time about how excited they were, and this episode was great. What did you think? So there's excitement out there for it. If we could just get the studios on board.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think it's the more I see, the more possibilities we have. Like. I would love it if Bo-Katan became a season or a series regular. I don't need to see Ahsoka necessarily as a series regular, but I would love a bigger Mandalorian presence. If we build this into a multi-season thing, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, we can do a lot with Mandalorian politics and like retaking Mandalore. Mm-hmm. And I think Bo-Katan could be a real asset to the story. And I mean, the actress did a great job just in this.
She sure did
one today. So anyway. We got way
off track
with the episode.
Yes, but very much needed philosophical conversation there. It was very exciting. So then she saves them. Then they take off their helmets, and he's ready to kill them because their helmets are off. And he's like, "You're not a real Mandalorian." And I loved her thing. This armor's been in my family for 3 generations. And then you could see the questioning going on in his head. Wait, hold on. It's been in your generation you're 3 generations deep, but yet you're taking your helmet off. Why are you doing that? And then even Axe Woves, that's the guy's name, who was the boy Mandalorian of the 3. I liked when he was like, "Oh, he's one of them."
Right.
And he was like, one of them what?
Yeah, one of them.
One of them. One of them what? What are you talking about? So then, so then he doesn't, Mando, Kyle, Din, whatever you want to call him, doesn't agree with their way of thinking because he's been so brainwashed into you have to keep your helmet on.
And by the way, we do see, like, again, Filoni is awesome, and Favreau, they're awesome at exploring the gray area, right? Star Wars has always traditionally, I think, been too black and white. Good guys, bad guys. You know, you're either one or the other. And finally, with this new generation of Star Wars, we're getting that gray area because there's no one who's all one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Bo-Katan has, from Clone Wars to Rebels to now, thankfully now we see that still. She's never been like a squeaky clean character.
No, she was
does
bad.
what she has to do for what she thinks is the betterment of her people. And we see that here where she, again, I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it further, right? I could have swore we were going to get one of those like little winks there, which I think that might have been the closest thing we got to a wink there because he's like, oh, you've altered the deal. And that was kind of like all right. But yeah, again, she's playing the game the way she needs to play it. And I think by the end of the episode, they've got a mutual respect.
Yeah.
But she doesn't trust him at the beginning. She doesn't know him. And so she uses him to further her needs, which of course are to get the Darksaber back, which is the unifying symbol of the Mandalorians.
Yes.
Yeah, we've talked about the Darksaber plenty of times on this show, right? So if you don't know the whole history behind the Darksaber, there is a long history dating back to the very first Mandalorian Jedi, who was of Clan Vizsla. I kind of forget the whole name, but it was a Clan Vizsla Mandalorian. Anyway, I'm going to drink a little Bantha milk.
You do that. So yeah, so then he's mad at them because they take their helmets off, and then he flies away. And then cool shot, him standing like on the dock or wherever, and you see the three of them fly off of the ship and they blow the ship up. They're like, well, not only are you guys all dead because we killed you all, but now we're going to blow up your ship also. So see ya.
Yep.
So then they leave. Then he turns around, and then the creature with the tentacles, I forget.
Or the Quarren.
The Quarren, yeah. He's like, you killed my brother. And I love to...
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my brother. Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. And Kyle was like, dude, just let me pass. Like, I don't even want to mess with you. Just let me go. And he was like, nope. And then you can see more of them showing up around him. And he's like, oh. They're like, now we're going to kill your pet. It's so funny how nobody on this planet knows who Baby Yoda is and how valuable he is to Moff Gideon.
And the funny thing, too, is because he's a little tiny thing, he's a pet. These guys look like squids.
Yes.
but because this little thing
is so tiny
and he's holding it, it's not his baby, it's his pet.
It's his pet. And he's green and he's got big ears. He's got to be a pet. It's got to be some kind of an animal of some sort. Yep. So then Bo-Katan to the rescue again. She comes, and I loved how quick they were. They didn't wait to see who shot first. They said, nope, we killed your brothers. Oh, and by the way, pow, we're killing you too. And it was like, pew, pew. There's all these pew, pews all over the place. All the brothers dead.
Yep. Again, they're turning... Man, we've always thought that Mandalorians were pretty cool. We saw Boba Fett 30 years ago. We thought, that guy looks pretty cool. So I think Star Wars fans took that guy and decided they're really awesome.
Yes.
And so now the people who are in charge are deciding they think these guys are awesome. Let's make them awesome. Right? And so these Mandalorians seem like superheroes.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's really cool to see because, again, if we're going to believe that this is a race of people that fought a war against the Jedi and really won,
yeah,
then we're gonna need to see that they're pretty darn good.
At what they do. Yeah.
We'll see what happens next time, or at least whenever we finally see a Force wielder, right? Because we're gonna start to see some Force wielders, I think, coming up pretty soon too.
Pretty soon, maybe.
Anyway,
yes. So
they come down, they blow the Quarren away. They do the whole really cool, we're way better than you thing, and they say, hey man, we need this, you need that, let's team up.
And he's like, fine, I'll team up. Whatever, because I need your information, so cool, let's do it. And then Mando...
And for whatever reason, the Empire is still operating something out of here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we're gonna find out more about Moff Gideon because he's
you
still...
think he's got some new or First Order ties?
I think he's... If he doesn't... I mean, if he makes it to the First Order, I think he will. Otherwise, he's definitely, like, at the forefront of the beginning of the New Order, probably.
Okay.
Depending on how long he lasts. Like if he's going to be the bad guy for all 30 seasons of The Mandalorian, then yes, then we're going to see him definitely become very powerful in First Order. But if Bo-Katan kills him at the end of this season, then I think we'll find out down the road that he had the starts of keeping the old empire and then trying to rebuild it into the First Order.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see some. Because again, we were told that we'd see some beginnings of the First Order in this episode or in this season. We haven't yet, and so we've got 5 or 6 episodes left.
This is only 3, so we have 5 more episodes after this. So
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see where this goes. But,
yeah.
I mean, there's loads of places it can go, right? Anyway, So the Empire is running weapons, and Bo-Katan wants those weapons.
Oh, I do like Mando knocking very loudly on the frog people's door, and then asking them to watch Baby Yoda. And I love this little mind your manners. And
yeah, he was very dad-like.
There was that wink in there. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Don't eat their children.
They don't know it. Only you and I know.
I know it.
Don't do it again. This is bad. Eating kids is bad. So yeah.
Although I will say, apparently, now I missed it. I gotta rewatch episode 2. But apparently, they did make it a point to say that these were unfertilized eggs. In whatever little cauldron they had.
Oh, okay. So and it's
like
it is interesting
snacking on some raw eggs.
It is interesting because you could see some of the eggs had darker spots in them than other eggs did. So. Right. Maybe he was just eating the eggs without the darker spots that were fertilized. Okay, I'll give him that. He's force wielding, so he knows these things. So he's like, okay, I
sense no life form in here.
That's right.
But that's not true because he eats plenty of live things.
He sure did, like
squids,
face sucking squids. Yeah,
that was I saw you post that on Instagram. That's a great shot you got on Insta. Yeah, check out our Instagram shot of that.
Yeah.
At Bantha Milk Podcast.
He's like crying. It's pretty funny. So then he drops off Baby Yoda so that way he can go off and fight against the Empire.
By the way, I mentioned to my wife that I over poured my glass of Bantha Milk tonight. It's almost gone.
And we still have plenty to go in the show too.
Yeah, we're not even close. So it's gonna be one of those nights.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Teachers in 2020, we need it. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, on a Friday night, yes.
Yeah.
So then they go onto the ship, and did they not look like a SEAL team going through that ship?
Like it was methodical. It was funny too because at first it was very clear that Din was left in the dust. He was like, wow, these guys know what they're doing. Like they're like because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the whole thing with the coverts and the way that the Children of the Watch have been operating is that only one really goes out at a time. So we were really excited last season. We finally saw them all fighting together. But here we see clearly a squad of Mandalorians who
like military trained. Yeah, like they were. And it was funny, like you see the 3 of them in their blue, very military, boom, 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 moving around like Green Berets or Navy SEALs or whatever, and then you see Din Djarin following them, like, oh wait for me, guys,
I'm coming,
I'm coming.
But let's think about the timeline real quick, because think about Bo-Katan has been active since the Clone Wars. At this point, we're at least 6 years after the Empire, so she's got to have been. I mean, she's been active combat for at least 20 plus years, right? So she was pretty BA 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess the body's atrophy and stuff like that, but I can't imagine she's much less than she was. So we're talking about the former leader of Mandalore here.
Right.
This isn't just any Mandalorian.
No, this was the top of the Mandalorian family. So yeah.
As awesome and killer as Kyle has been so far, we should expect, and now if Kyle is sitting here chest to chest, shoulder to shoulder with the former leader of Mandalore, and she's impressed.
Yes.
Here's hoping we see Kyle start to I really want to get into Mandalorian politics next season.
Yes.
I want to see more Kyle start to raise in the ranks. We see different factions of Mandalorians.
What does that do to the armorer?
Sure.
Because
you got to figure the armorer is a part of the sect. So who is she, and what does she come from, and where does she fall in the hierarchy of the Mandalorians?
And why, did she fall out with the Mandalorians to start her own sect and stuff like that? So, she's and how great would it be for her to go face to face with Bo-Katan and then have Kyle stuck in the middle, like I don't know who do I follow, who do I like.
I think we're definitely going to see something like that, and I think Kyle's going to bridge that. I think we're going to see our boy Kyle bridge that gap. I think there's going to be a moment where
he's got to pick one.
Stereotypical, so I don't want to like peg this into a like because Filoni and Favreau don't often do that. Fits into the peg nicely thing. But I think we'll see like a moment where Kyle bridges the gap between the two sects when they all have to kind of come together for something.
Yeah, because we haven't seen her at all. I mean, he hasn't been back for any reason, so there's no reason for us to see her, but she's still out there. We know she's still alive.
We'll definitely see her, and I really hope we get more about her because obviously she's pretty killer. And my initial thought, I think, I might have even mentioned it on here, is, hey, maybe that this armorer is, Bo-Katan or something like that.
Now, wouldn't it be cool if it was like, if she sees her and Bo-Katan goes, now I know her sister's dead, so it wouldn't be sister, but if she was like cousin, and then the armorer was like, hello, cousin, and they're like...
Well, can you imagine if it somehow turned out to be Satine?
It would be so cool.
Somehow Satine survived. Now, for those of you, you got to check out Clone Wars for this, right? Because this is a deep pull here, right? But Satine was the former Duchess of Mandalore, pacifist, right? Could you imagine if some 25, 30, whatever years later, it turns out that Satine survived being assassinated by Darth Maul? I don't think we're going to see that. That's a very tinfoil hat theory right there. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool. It would be very, very cool if that happened. So who knows? Maybe we'll see something close to that. And obviously, if it can't be Satine, it would be even cooler if she was related somehow to Bo-Katan. So that would really make it. I mean, if we can do 9 movies about one family, then we can do, we can bring the 2 different Mandalorians together somehow. So so then back to the story. So then they're on the ship and they're acting like awesome, like I said, like a SEAL team or Green Berets or something like that, just methodically going through them and just like taking them out group by group by group. And even before Mando goes running and just he took 50 shots to the armor.
Yeah, right. He decided, all right, I got this.
Yeah,
and I guess they all forgot that they have bulletproof armor.
Yeah,
and he was the only one who was like, all right, I got this, guys.
But the stormtroopers are wearing armor that's basically made of cardboard because one shot they're all dying. But he takes 50 of them, and he's like...
Beskar is pretty pricey, bro.
Beskar is some good stuff there.
The Empire has had some serious cuts into their profits since the destruction of the Death Star and the fall of the Emperor. So they can't afford Beskar.
And there was another joke about stormtroopers not being able to hit the side of a ship.
There was.
So there was another joke about that.
Bantha, right?
So, yeah.
Hit the side of a Bantha.
So that was another good joke, and
which ties right in with us.
Well, exactly, perfect.
That's right.
The captain, what's his name? Titus Wilmer. Wilver. I don't know how to say. I can't speak English very well.
That's okay.
But did you notice him from somewhere else?
He looked familiar, but I didn't catch.
He was in the TV show Bosch, which was on forever. Bosch, Bosch, Bosch. I didn't watch it. Bosch, yeah, but it was on forever. But I do recognize him from commercials and stuff from that. So he's a real famous actor. He was in a bunch of TV series and some movies and stuff.
He gave me real Hail Hydra vibes.
Yes,
right.
Very much so.
The Empire, I love it because if you're a Marvel fan, especially with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know that Hydra is this cult-like subversive group that kind of permeates throughout things, and they're so fanatical that they're willing to die for whatever their cause is. And again, they would keep a cyanide capsule in the back of their mouth. And so here we have the Empire has kind of become Hydra.
Hydra, yeah.
It used to be the big thing, but now they're kind of secretive. They're hiding in the dark. And here we have clearly a lifetime Imperial officer who's willing to give his life via Star Wars version of a cyanide capsule.
Yes. Very cool.
All for the betterment of the Empire.
All for the Empire.
Empire forever or something like that.
Yep.
So I thought that was
for
really
the
cool.
Empire, I think he said maybe. I don't remember, but yeah. But even when the troops in the back were calling up and they were like, we got them trapped in the in the hangar bay, and he goes,
Oh, yeah, he said the equipment control or something like that, control room, and he was like, "What room?
What room? Okay." And he pushes a button, and he opens the back door, and unfortunately, it was only his people that were back there, and not any of the.
Well, no, I think the point of that was that he was saying, "What room are they in?" And they said, "Oh, they're in the control room," meaning they have the controls.
Okay.
Right. So he realized, oh gosh, these guys don't even realize that they're screwed. Right? Because they're in the control room, meaning they have the control as to whether or not to suck them out the room or not. I don't think he did that. I think the Mandalorians did that.
Okay, because I took it that he did that. We'll have to watch it again.
So. I think he was realizing at the last minute, or like they didn't realize, they tried to trap him, and like they kind of, whatever officer was in the room with them, they clearly tried to make him into this kind of bumbling,
this whiny
idiot.
like yeah. Well,
and
you
so
know,
he thought, oh, we've got him trapped.
Yeah.
But he was too dumb to realize I have him trapped, but they're in the control room and we're in.
We're behind in the cargo bay, which is now going to their. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I took it.
Check. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the direction they were going there. Where he was kind of realizing, oh gosh, they already won, and this guy doesn't know it.
Doesn't know it yet. Yeah.
And so then he sucks him out, and he calls his boy Moff Gideon, and he goes, "Hey man, we need help." And Moff Gideon goes, "Nope."
Yeah, he's like, too late.
They already have the ship. Sorry,
they're
buddy,
taking over. He's like,
do.
you know what to do. So then he goes and he kills the pilot and the co-pilot. And the pilot and the co-pilot, you could tell that they were like.
They did not sign on for this.
No, they were like.
This was way above their. They did not get paid enough for this.
Yeah, they were like, we were.
Listen, the captain of this ship has spent his entire career in. He was going to lavish parties.
Yep.
He was like. He had all this money. He signed on. He knew, listen, this is what you signed up for, but there's a chance.
Yep. There's a chance things could go wrong, and then the Empire falls.
These pilots came out of Imperial Pilot School.
Yep.
Thought that this was their big break. I get to pilot a ship.
Yep.
I'm gonna, I get to travel. I get to see the galaxy.
And he's like, wait, we didn't realize that people were going to actually attack us. We were part of the Empire. We were the big guys, so nobody's going to attack us. And they're like, is there any way we can get out of here? And then the captain was like, no, there's one way. He kills them both. And then
he decides, all right, we're taking, if I'm going down, I'm taking them with me.
Taking them, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I kill them on the way down. So then he starts to plummet down, and another cool action sequence of the ship going down. And as they're going down, then
And by the way, I would assume, again, considering these things go into space, I'd assume they have gravity generators anyway, because I feel like a free fall like that would put everyone to
the back.
Mode,
yeah, they would all be slammed against the back wall. But it's also TV. I hate to tell you this, it's Star Wars. Yeah. So then they storm the bridge, and they bring the ship back.
Of course, they pull it back up
easily.
And by the way, we saw that tower. I was sure that tower was going down.
We thought they were going to clip it.
Oh yeah, like that is such a Star Wars thing. Like when they're coming down in Episode 3 in Revenge of the Sith, I was like, that tower's done.
That tower's done. They're going to take it out.
Down. I was kind of let down when
they
tower
should have.
survived.
Yeah, they totally should have taken it out. Just clipped it a little bit with the jet on the side would have been perfect.
Yep. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And then, so then she says, where's the Darksaber? And he said, if you have to ask, you already know. And then she's like, well, where is he? And cyanide caplet, which is electrifying and pretty cool. Special effects, little blue shock in his mouth there. And then he goes down.
I feel like blue lightning must be a very easy effect for them to put on, right? Because they've been using that as a reliable standby in Star Wars for 30 some odd years.
Yes, from the time it came out of the Emperor's fingers, ever since everything's always been blue.
Yep.
So yeah.
So anyway, so he Hail Hydras his way out of there.
He sure does.
They pull up. Life is good. They get their guns
and their ship. So now they have a ship as well to fight the Empire and to restore Mandalore. We don't know who she's going to be fighting, although they did say the Empire did take over Mandalore at one point.
Yeah.
So
they obviously he wants his end of the bargain, and they straight up name drop right away.
Perfect name drop.
They decide, we're not gonna pussyfoot around. We're not gonna give you like this. No, Ahsoka Tano's on Corvus.
Yep.
Boom. Now, last we heard of Ahsoka, she was in the World Between Worlds, right? With
she was
Ezra.
Yeah. Well, she was Ezra got out, but she was still running around in there trying to find other things and stuff. But yes, so that was the last time that we saw her.
But I thought Ahsoka went searching for Ezra with
Sabine, but not in the world between worlds.
Right, because Ezra. Now this is a Rebels poll. So if
Rebels,
you haven't seen
yes.
Rebels. Again, I can't recommend it highly enough.
It's
such
so
a
good.
Great show. And
So
it's again more of this storytelling,
and
right?
also
So
more
check it out.
spoilers because we're going to be talking about the last episode of Rebels. So
Right,
the last episode, Ezra gets back with the giant whale floating in
space whales,
Space whales, yes.
The hyperspace whales.
Hyperspace whales, yes. And he gets on the hyperspace whales and they hyperspace out of Dodge, and we don't know where he goes.
But we do know that Ahsoka and Sabine went looking for him.
Then Ahsoka and Sabine did go looking for him.
So if we know that we're going to see Ahsoka, then we might just hear about what happened to Ezra.
We might.
And there has been some scuttlebutt on social media about some actor. I haven't looked too much into it, but there's been some actor teasing some mention of live-action Ezra. So it'd be really interesting if we see Ezra Bridger live-action.
That would be pretty cool, yes. And he would obviously be a lot older.
I think I got to start a Rebels rewatch because I'm just so excited. Like this episode got me so jazzed.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about Star Wars again.
Even just like the last 2 seasons of it. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, watch like the last 2 seasons.
But there's only 4 seasons, isn't there?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, depending on how much time you want to spend watching it. So I have a feeling you have 2 weeks to watch it.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to say, go see Ahsoka.
And then next episode.
And then yeah.
That's going to be like the very end of the episode. We get the teaser, just like the Luke. That's so annoying.
Yes.
It's an annoying Star Wars trope. Hey, John, I know you listen to this
This podcast,
Mr. Favreau. Stop that.
Stop it.
Enough.
Stop it. You stop
We're
it now.
tired of it. Give us the cool people and let us see it. This week you gave us the cool people.
Very much so.
Early in the episode, and you let us see them at work, and
yes.
it made us excited.
And they kicked butt, and it was an awesome
I don't want to wait
episode.
till the end of an episode to get a tiny peek at Rosario Dawson, and oh look, she's Ahsoka. I can't wait another week until I see her.
We're gonna
pull out a lightsaber.
all we're gonna see is just like in Luke Skywalker at the end. We're just gonna see Rosario Dawson come out of the dark somewhere and poof, 2 lightsabers. And then the credits. And then the credits. And that's all we're going to see.
Or we'll just see Rosario Dawson. And then we'll spend an entire episode with Rosario Dawson before, at the very end of the episode, we have that. We have
yes.
that. And they're definitely, mark my words, Rob, you are 100% correct. They're definitely going to do the classic Ahsoka from both hilts out this way.
Out that way.
And then they're absolutely going to.
So she's going to go into some kind of a battle at the very end of the episode, and you're going to see the 2 lightsabers come out, her go into her pose with the 1 lightsaber this way, the 1 lightsaber in front, and then we're going to go into the credits.
I'm really excited to see our very first live-action white lightsaber.
Yes. That'll be really good. Yeah. So I have a feeling next week we may wind up seeing Cara Dune and Apollo Creed again.
Yeah.
So maybe he stops for some reason.
Because next week is the halfway point, right? Next week we're halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So something big's got to happen next episode. I feel like we've got to get some big thing that is going to be the catalyst for the rest of the season.
Yes, and also as we spoke about, we pretty much saw all of the things from the trailer, all the clips from the trailer.
Yeah. So pretty much everything from here on out is new.
Is going to be all new, all fresh. I'm looking at my notes here, seeing if I missed anything, and nope, we got it all. So yeah,
that pretty much wraps up the episode.
So that wraps it up.
We end on a high note.
Yeah, man.
All right, we're gonna see Ahsoka Tano soon. We've got Bo-Katan. She's looking for the dark saber.
Oh, and also it ends also very happily, kind of.
Right, we
Baby
go
Yoda,
back and we see little baby tadpole.
A little baby tadpole, and Baby Yoda is being nice to him. He's not trying to eat him. He's like petting him and playing with him.
And the lizard or the frog woman and the frog man are teaching little Baby Yoda how to play nice.
Yep, and they're doing very well. They're tossing the ball around to each other. They're having some fun, good times. And then they get back onto the ship, which he said. When Mando gave the not Mon Calamari guy, what was the guy?
The Quarren.
The Quarren. When he gave the Quarren guy 1,000 credits.
Quarren or Aqualish?
I think he was the Aqualish.
I've said Quarren a bunch this episode.
I think we're the Quarren.
If I keep saying the wrong thing,
which ones are the ones with the tentacles? They're the Quarren.
That's Quarren.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Aqualish, he was like, when he gave him 1,000 credits to fix his ship, and he goes, "Well, I can get it running again." So then he goes back into the
just
ship.
all this netting around the cockpit.
Everything is just basically just like tied up. There's nothing like fixed. It's just like duct tape.
So now, are we going to see Kyle fix the Razor Crest, or you think we're going to get a new ship?
He's got to fix the Razor Crest.
Yeah, I think they've turned the ship into the iconic ship now. I think we got to see someone fix it up.
Yeah, he's got to fix it up.
If only Queel were around still.
I know. Queel could totally fix that bad boy
By
up.
the labor of his hands.
Yep, and 3 of your human lifetimes, he could fix that up.
Too bad he got decimated.
So I went back and I watched almost all of season 1. Last week we were talking about how many times Kyle has used the flamethrower.
Okay.
And he used it in episode chapter 1. He used it twice in chapter 2. He did not use it in chapter 3 at all. No, he used it in chapter 3. Didn't use it in chapter 4. No, hold on. I've had too many blah, blah, blahs.
Yeah, like I told you, I
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
I'm very close to it. Now, this is some bullet bourbon here.
So that's some good stuff.
I know my buddy Joe is watching right now. He's a big bourbon guy. So, Joe, this is some bullet for you.
He used it in chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, not in 5, but then in 6 again, and I didn't get to 7 or 8 to rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure he used it in 7 and 8.
I was really bummed we didn't see all 4 of them. I thought for sure at one point we'd see all 4 of the Mandalorians just roast some people.
So did you notice all the blue Mandalorians, or at least Bo-Katan did, I think the other 2 did as well, had knives.
They were very stabby, for sure.
Very stabby.
Yeah.
They had knives that came out of their wrist.
A little more BA. Like, it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Like,
it was
really
much more hand-to-hand, and it was just like they grabbed them and then stabbed them.
Bo-Katan, you got to figure, hopefully, I mean, I'm not thinking too deep. Hopefully, I'd imagine Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau think a lot deeper than I do. But you got to figure Bo-Katan has been used to wielding this darksaber for however long, so she probably has adapted her combat to be melee-focused, considering she had a ridiculous melee weapon to deal with for however long.
Yes.
So, again, I'm just really excited.
So she didn't need a flamethrower on her wrist to go along with it.
No, if you have a black plasma blade at hand, no, who needs a flamethrower? Not me.
Nope, not at all. Now, I just want to check one thing real fast. Bless you.
I sneezed. My apologies.
You did.
I'm gonna do it again probably. Life goes on.
Okay. I was hoping I'm trying to see which episode Bryce Dallas Howard.
Howard, which one she
directed chapter 4 Sanctuary. Was the first one that she directed.
Okay, which one was Sanctuary?
That was the one where we first met Cara Dune. The one where they were taking out the ATST. Yeah,
that was a great one. Again, that was a more intimate one. So it's interesting to see because, again, last week's episode I would say was a little more like. But although episode 1 was very much like Sanctuary, right? Because again, you get the dynamic of rousing the locals to battle something that was attacking them. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's a testament to the directing staff that they're able to do different things and direct different styles and types of episode. Yeah. I think the fact that, a lot of times Star Wars fans rightfully complain that the Star Wars is taking too many directions. We have too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people with their thought, but like, it seems like a real collaboration where all the directors, Taika Waititi and Bryce Dallas Howard and what's her name, Ellen Chow, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they all seem really on the same track. They all have a very specific shared vision for the, it's a collaboration more so than
Rick Foyamaka.
I don't know that one. Right.
He directed episode 6.
I need to brush up a little bit, right?
And it was Deborah Cho. Deborah Cho was the one who...
I'm sorry, Deborah Cho.
She directed 7,
Right, but again, it seems like there's a real shared unity and vision for the show. This feels like some of my favorite Star Wars.
Yes, 100%.
For production value, for storyline, for... The only thing that bums me out is that we only get 8 episodes for a season, and again, this was a 33-minute episode.
Yeah, it was short again.
We started off with like a 56-minute episode for episode 1, and there was like a 44-minute episode. Now we're down to 33 minutes. if you're going for this production value and you're going for this few number of episodes per season, you need to fill them and you need to make them matter and you need to make them a little longer, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much of that has to do with network politics, you know?
Right.
Maybe they're still in a position where they have to prove that the show, because I think last week they probably saw a definite decline in viewership, but this week I think people are going to get excited about this episode.
Well, I did see, if we could go back to Star Wars news, that Disney Plus is now at like 74 million subscribers or something like that. Some really big number. Like they jumped another like 10 million subscribers.
Right.
So people are definitely resubscribing or subscribing for the first time for The Mandalorian.
Right. For sure.
So even
and you know, I definitely have heard of people literally subscribing for The Mandalorian and then when it comes off, canceling their subscription.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know quite a few people who have done that, who have only had their subscription for 2 months and then canceled it and then waited 8 months for it to come back again and then resubscribe for 2 months and then canceled it again.
Yep.
But yeah, like, I don't know, either more episodes. I'm not opposed to the 35-minute episodes. I actually liked, especially this one, because this one
this episode was packed with stuff. So
was
I'm not
packed
explain
with
too
stuff.
much.
Yeah,
I would have loved a longer episode with more stuff in it, but there are no complaints by me for this episode. Right. I wish it were a little longer. I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a little bit, but like the quality was there. I wasn't searching for more. But, you know, when you have episodes like last week's where we're kind of like. Again, I think at the end of the season we'll look back and maybe understand a little bit why that episode was needed.
Well, they did. It's the same, and you even said it in the beginning. Like we're following the same pattern that we followed in season 1, where the first episode was boom, and then the second episode, whatever. But then we get back into it again, and then we meet new people in the next episode after that, and we go somewhere.
Yeah, and we talked last season about how the first 3 episodes in particular could be really roped into one sort of hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And whereas I don't know that there's the same continuity of storyline for this one.
No.
There is that overall arc where we have a lot of action, sort of some lull, and then this kind of ties things into a knot. And whatever happens next episode is something new.
Right,
I feel like we're leaving the frog people behind.
Yes.
We're on a new path now. We have a lead, and we'll see where that leads us.
Yeah. So, very excited about that. And I also think we're going to see repeats of these people. Like, we're going to see Bo-Katan come back. We're going to see... We might even see... I don't know how we could. Not that, Timothy Oliphant and the... whatever it was his name?
Cobb Vanth.
Cobb Vanth, I'm sure he has some kind of ship or has access to some kind of ship.
Yeah, they definitely didn't introduce us to his character for nothing. Especially, he's a pretty high profile actor. He's got a price tag on him.
Right.
They're not going to bring him in for nothing.
If not him, we know that we saw Boba Fett at the end of it. They teased it one more time. And we also now not know but are pretty sure that Boba Fett is the one that went in chapter 6 and rescued I forget what her name was, but the other bounty hunter. Yeah. So maybe the two of them are together somewhere and they could join in this somehow.
That was the great thing about this episode too, is it kind of made me forget about Boba Fett. Like we forget that there's still this big cliffhanger waiting for us.
Just waiting there.
But this episode was so great that I forgot, like, he could have hopped in at any time and be like, oh gosh, Boba Fett. So he's going to, like, I think at the time when we least expect it, all of a sudden Boba's going to be around.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Because he's clearly watching Kyle. He's watching our boy Din Djarin.
Yes.
So we'll see where that leads.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, so we're definitely getting into a point now where we're going to start tying people in together and getting more and more people involved, which is all going to more than likely culminate in a giant battle against Moff Gideon and all of his For the Empire people. So it's going to be a pretty awesome finale for Season 2.
Yes, indeed.
But I think that's pretty much the end of
that
Chapter 11. It was a great episode.
I have less notes on
Me too.
Than any of the ones I've had so far, and we still managed an hour and 15 minutes of talking because there was so much to unpack from this episode.
Yeah.
So if you heard anything we said wrong or if you heard anything you want to chime in on, please follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go to our Facebook. Send us an email at banthamopodcast@gmail.com. If you have any drink recipes, again, we're just drinking our Bantha milk as well as we can here. I've gone through this. This glass was mostly full, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. But we would love to get your Star Wars inspired drink recipes, right? So send us some at banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your tinfoil hat theories. Send us your questions. Send us your comments, your concerns, your conundrums, your queries. We love to hear from y'all. Next week, we just might have a guest on. My buddy Dan from college is a definite listener to our podcast, and he wants to come on and talk a little Mando with us. So we might have Dan on next episode. So be ready for that. Right?
Before we go,
voices.
can I mention something that you have neglected to talk about? The
You may
beard.
not.
The
Absolutely
beard is
not.
growing in.
I do see it. I do see it very
no
vaguely.
shave November is
It's November
coming
13th, and that's all you've got?
That's all I got. And
I'm surprised.
I even cheated, and I didn't even shave like from October 20 something.
I mean, now I'm no one to talk. Listen, I've got a fairly long beard, but this beard took me a very long time to get. So I'd imagine if I shaved this bad boy down to skin in 13 days, I probably would not have the same sort of coverage you have. But
so we'll see.
no,
We'll see where it's coming.
I don't know. Listen. I'm always an advocate of the beard. I think you should turn No Shave November into a year-long tradition.
A year-long thing.
I haven't touched. Now I'm not. I haven't touched a blade to my face here since 2013.
Nice.
I haven't shaved. Now I shaved my neck, but I haven't shaved my face since 2013. So I'm always an advocate for the beard. So anytime Rob can bring the beard back is a good time for me.
So there we go. So it's
bringing
growing
the serious,
in. So
serious
check us.
COVID March 2020 vibes from Rob right
So
now.
bring it. Check us out on YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe. Comment down below if you like the beard or not. What do you want the magic word to be for Jason?
Sassafras.
Sassafras. Jason.
I'm really glad you remember that, Rob, because I completely would have forgotten.
I just remembered,
That
yes.
is fantastic. Yeah, so the magic word, Jason, is sassafras, if you'd like to prove to us that you listen to our show.
And that goes for anybody. Write the word sassafras somewhere down there.
Down below, at Bantha Milk Podcast, hashtag sassafras.
Hashtag sassafras. Let's get it
our new
going.
phrase, right? But,
all right, so I think
it was a great episode.
Great episode.
Season so far. We've got a whole lot more to unpack, so please check us out. We're trying to get our recordings out to you every week by Friday night, right?
Yep.
So check us out on wherever you get your podcasts. We have a good time chatting with you about Star Wars. We hope you have a good time listening to us. Send us your questions, your comments, and that's about all we got for you today.
That's it. All right. Take us out of here, Nick.
We have spoken.
We have spoken.